Hello, so this is the AIM June update. The main focus of this update is new features to help you outperform your competitors in strategy and planning. We're going to use our FutureVille Smart City case study that we've used before, and this demo is going to pick up where we've already done the initial setup, which is go into suggested views in AI Designer and click generate, and that creates 50 questions that have been generated towards helping you achieve whatever your objective is. In this case, it's create a comprehensive plan to develop a smart city for 5 million people. It could be literally anything, including sort of enterprise level strategic goals, or for individual programs or projects, or really anything. So after clicking generate, we have 50 questions, and there's two sets of 25. So 25 are kind of more tied to kind of bottom up, tied to architecture modeling. So we have M for motivation layer, that's stakeholders, goals, drivers, principles. S for strategy, B for business, A for application layer, T for technology, P for physical, and I for implementation. And they're always quite good. And then sort of complementing that, we have blue sky questions. So they just have an X. They're not really tied to a layer. They're more sort of top down from a business / real world kind of point of view, but together you get good coverage from both sets of questions. And so after having clicked generate, what also happens is 3 of those questions get picked and they get rolled forward to become a suggested view, which is like a view specification. It's given the question, how would you represent that as a spec for an actual view, which will end up on your My Views tab. So for each suggested view, it explains what the thinking is around why you would create this, what question it was created from, and if you create the view, what are the elements going to be. So these are all 2-layer questions. So the top layer would be, for this one, a requirement, and each requirement would be underpinned by a principle. And this is essentially your strategy and planning pipeline. Is select questions to generate, and you can also add your own, and you'll come up with lots of questions as part of this process. Click plus to create a suggested view, generate prompts for a view, and then build up your set of actual views. And then you can actually sort them into a kind of sensible order that a business consultant might sort them into, and then put them into a document, and we'll have a look at that. So let's just generate a question. Let's just do a stakeholder view, something simple, just to show the mechanics. And when this runs, every time you click plus, the suggested views are always first on the suggested views tab. So here we go, we've got a suggested view, and it's just single level. So the rationale is creating this view will help you identify and categorize all relevant stakeholders for the Smart City project, ensuring comprehensive engagement. Stakeholders will be represented to capture their interest and influences. So that sounds good. The next step is to create prompts. Now this is the instructions are going to be fed to OpenAI to produce the view, and if you can change this in a minute. But the next step is then to create an actual view, which is going to end up on your My Views tab. So there's the prompt. You can modify that. You can modify even the elements used in the view. You can change the description length, and you can kind of have a peek here. It's asking OpenAI, there's a degree of randomness kind of built in, but you can kind of get a sense of, is there 5 or 25 kind of elements that that need to be in the view. It's kind of querying OpenAI to see how much content there might be for this. Once you're happy with the prompts and you've set whether you want descriptions and the length, then just click Create Content. And see that's generating. All right, so there's our view. There's the descriptions, and we can auto-generate a title for that. What we can also do is, what's been enhanced is tags. So whereas the view is useful, adding tags is sort of somewhat underestimated, but this is important as well. So basically it's just a set of key value pairs added to a view. So we can select what element to add it to. So this view only has stakeholders. And we can put in sort of what the tag is. So we might have importance. And then we can write the prompt, identify how important each stakeholder is from a maybe planning perspective. And maybe we call this planning importance. So we can, and then we click generate, it'll tag it up. You also want to say you can say what values you want to use. Values of high, medium, or low, and it'll understand that. But what we can do is click, this is new, you can click suggest properties, and this will go off and kind of generate suggested tags. And so that's the tag name, and that's the element it'll tag it against. So if you've got a multi-level view, you'll see different tags suggested for the different levels of elements in the view. But if we click influence, then it's gone and just replace these fields, and then we can click generate. All right, so there's our tags applied, and the colors are set because I'd used this tag before, but you can go in and just change the colors, whatever you like. And you can change, if you sort of disagreed that maybe this was high and not medium, you can go and change it. In fact, that's encouraged. So because you can do now strategy and planning activities like this in kind of real time, you can generate the views in real time with your team and maybe tag it up, but then go through it with your team to modify this that reflects your thinking. And importantly, like the reason why OpenAI came up with that value is there. So oftentimes it seems that's describes something that, maybe you hadn't thought of. All right, so that's view creation. If we go back onto the dashboard, click My Views, there's our stakeholders view. What's also a little bit new, but was in the last update, is generating insights and actions. So whereas the views are always quite good, it is like drinking from the fire hose. So this is, if you had to read and digest all the detail of the view. So this is the too long didn't read version. These are key insights. And these are actions that you might want to perform that are kind of driven off the view, but are also aligned with your overall objective. And so the entire set of insights and actions across all the views, could represent your part of your strategy and planning activities that you put into some tracking system and follow through with. Although probably will add that into AIM at a later point where you can edit these and assign them to people, but that's not there now. So the last thing that's been added is, you can sort these into sort of some logical order if a consultant came in and was going to put a presentation together. And it's left them. So the order we had them in was okay. And then the new function in this release is creating the document. So you just click the button, click Save, and if I go to my documents, then I get this document produced. So we have, you can just do F9, update the table of contents. So it puts in your overall modeling objective, your initially stated context, and then we have all the questions that were generated, even if you haven't used them all to create a view. And then you have each view with the insights and actions, the prompts that we use to create the view, and the actual elements of the view. So it looks like here. So here's all the questions. And you can see they're tagged with, if they belong to a layer, what layer they relate to. You could almost stop right there in the, there's value in having just the questions that you could then use a normal, non-AI enabled approach to kind of to discuss. There'd be value in that alone. And then we have the generated context. So you can't edit this yet, but this was given your initial context, this was the additional context information that was generated. And then we have each view. So you've got the view name, you've kind of got the consulting level, subtitle for the view, the insights and actions, the prompts that we use to create the view, and then all the elements in the view. And under each element, if it was tagged, then the tag, the key value pair and the rationale for why that value was assigned is given. So you can sort of further edit this, with your team. So being able to generate strategy and planning content, these strategy and planning packs for your business as a whole, and then each individual initiative you may be considering. This is the value prop to be able to accelerate strategy and planning, do it more robustly, so that you pick better initiatives and you de-risk them and plan them better, so you're outperforming your competitors. So see the links below in this video for how to get AIM. It's pretty easy, and also how to get in touch with us if you'd like us to help you get started with this, or if you'd like us to help you produce help produce strategy and planning packs for you. So that's all for now. Thanks.